if you're going to cultivate an acoustic guitar experience.
Sure, absolutely.
Guitar sommelier, if you will.
Yeah. All right, do you have some corks that we can sniff?
Hi everybody, I'm Chris.
And I'm Matt. Normally we are Driftwood Guitars, but that's not what this is. Today we are here at Eddie's Guitars in St. Louis. We are a long way from Freeport, Florida, but we're super excited to be here. And this video is Professional Luthier Reacts. So this is a very YouTube-y concept, but Chris here has been making guitars for 16 years now?
Ish, yeah.
Okay, I should know that. I've been doing it for roughly 3, but yeah, Chris, incredibly talented luthier. Don't tell him I said that, or else he'll get a big head. Very, very good at what he does. And so today we actually are here in this mecca of incredible guitar quality, and we're going to do something that we don't normally get to do, and that's look at what a lot of other luthiers that are I guess peers of yours, I would say, they're not peers of mine.
But, listen, us luthiers, we just hide away in our workshops for months at a time. We almost never see sunlight. And I've recently learned that I'm not the only luthier that has not played other luthiers' guitars. So yeah, we're gonna put some guitars in my hands and Matt's hands and play them.
If you've ever been curious about what one expert luthier might think about another one, yeah, this is your chance to find out.
Yeah.
So.
And so today we have this Matt, and the other Matt is back there on the other camera. So you guys, he's still there, and he's gonna help fill in any blanks or questions that we have. So
yeah. Well, and actually, let's send it over to Matt now. You curate a lot of these guitars yourself. What would be the first guitar that you would recommend that we pick up if you're going to cultivate an acoustic guitar experience?
Sure, absolutely.
Guitar sommelier, if you will.
Yeah. All right, do you have some corks that we can sniff?
Indeed. That's exactly what we do here. And I just want to say thank you guys for being here. We really appreciate you driving up and hanging out with us, and thrilled to have you here and check out.
I don't think you understand. Like, they don't threaten us with a good time. Like we're like, oh yeah, you want to go hang out in a place where there are a lot of really, really cool guitars? Like, yeah, absolutely.
Made it to the right destination.
Yeah, let's go.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Right behind you, Matt, is a guitar by Jeff Jewitt. And what that is, that's an OM cutaway. That's actually a Matt Thomas signature model, or a variation, I should say, of a Matt Thomas signature model. If you're familiar with Matt or not, you should be with Mr. Thomas. Killer guitar player, just amazing.
I don't know why I'm holding this. You're the expert.
Is this a European spruce?
It is. That is.
Look at that eye. Did you see it?
Calling his shots, ladies and gentlemen.
German spruce.
Yep.
Madagascar rosewood on the back.
Gorgeous. Satin finish on the neck. Really nice heel, but with the polished section on the back of the headstock, which is just so nice.
So, Chris, I know the answer to this, so this is a little bit of a loaded question, but whenever you look at someone else's, like another handmade guitar, what are the things as a luthier that you always look for in terms of quality? Like, just, to educate people.
Oh, yeah. Like, it's funny, because the things that, like, luthiers get nitpicky about are things that, like, guitar buyers typically don't, but you're looking at, like, your miter joints on your corners, a clean neck joint, obviously, fretwork, fret ends, finish work's a little different, but yes, you look at finish work and things like that. That's kind of like what you look at from a maker to a maker standpoint. You're like looking at that level of thing. And then obviously the guitar player and me, what I care about is how does it feel? How's the setup on it? And what does it sound like? And we all have different ideas of what it is we want the guitar to sound like. And so it's just cool. It's the feel and the look and the fit and finish on the guitar is incredible. It's got the EVO gold frets too, which is really, really nice.
Yeah.
A lot of the times when I look at other builders, I just kind of go, man, I should have thought of that.
Yeah.
Such like a really nice like explosion off the soundboard for like the upper bass frequency.
I was literally saying like the A and the D string are popping on that guitar. Yeah.
It's like bass, yes, but it's really like bass getting into low mids where it's really, really nice sounding.
I like the fret markers. That's is that reconstituted stone or whatever it's called?
Yeah, is it jade? Is that what they have on here with all the
looks like it.
Reconstituted turquoise.
Turquoise.
Turquoise. Okay.
That's it.
Precious stones.
Yeah. That's so nice sounding. The whole guitar is just so nice and open. It's got the sound port in it too, which is nice and subtle. It just adds a little bit of a surround effect. You know, you always see people talk about them on YouTube videos about the sound port, but it's very nice. He even gave me a mirror.
Oh yeah,
a flashlight.
We know you're a stickler about your glue squeeze out, so we thought we'd be prepared for you.
How do the, what do the braces look like in there?
So it's funny, like he's doing a lot of the things that you see with hand built guitars, which is like solid kerfing, which is always such a nice thing to have. It adds stiffness to the guitar. Reinforced sound hole, which is really, really nice. It's got a cap on the X brace, which just adds strength to the X brace. A really nice wide saddle, so that you have much better string contact on the saddle. Just all the things that you'd like to see. Look, you can even do it like this on this guitar.
Oh, nice.
It's just really, really nicely built. They've got the advanced shell technology kerfing in there, which is really nice too, and a full bolt-on neck. So even the fingerboard extension is a bolt-on. It's a really nice guitar, and it's just really like it's a really nice clean aesthetic. A very nice clean aesthetic on the guitar.
And the Samoji rosette. And,
we never know what this sort of style where they take different woods and glue them together.
The geometric
we always say like a Samoji style because I feel like that was kind of the genesis of a lot of that look.
Sure. I know Jason Costel calls it like the stained glass rosette.
It's cool.
That end wedge also has a matching.
End graft,
No strap buttons on it. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I guess optional. Yeah.
And a very mild arm bevel. A very, very mild arm bevel, which is really, really nice.
And so that guitar also has like it's a Manzer wedge, but it's a Manzer wedge that is almost like diagonal.
Do you know what Manzer wedge is?
Matt Thomas.
Manzer wedge is this profile from your end here and here. Typically, it wedges in. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And so this version of it on the Matt Thomas signature guitar actually goes from like the lower treble bout to the upper bass bout. It's tapered that way.
I see.
Or wedged that way,
to
rather.
make it more ergonomic.
Yeah.
Right? It's a really impressive guitar. Really, really nice. I imagine if you're, that upper mid-range.
Tune in today, professional Luthier butchers Blackbird.
It's really nice sounding. It's so different than what one of my Driftwoods sound like. This is obviously going to be my barometer for all of the guitars here. Like every guitar builder has a sound, and it's almost like you can't control it. It just comes out of you that way, and it's really cool to hear a totally different sound. I wouldn't even know how to make a guitar have the volume that this guitar has in certain frequencies, which I love. Like whereas my guitar is scooped, this one's scooped in the opposite direction. In a really nice way.
It's a very mid-forward guitar, but that's...
Yeah, man. And we've seen this guy's stuff online so much. It's just really cool to get to hold one. Sweet, man.
Perfect.
Off to a good start.
Where should I head next, Matt?
If you wanted to go for something radically different, tell you what, right behind you, Chris, the circle strings.
This one here.
The full dreadnought there. This pretty fun guitar.
What me and Matt were looking at. Just for the record, we didn't play any of these things before camera rolls. Like I told them, like I really wanted to pick them up before the cameras rolled, but we didn't. So we haven't even held them. This is the tree, right?
You got it.
Yeah.
Just
hard to miss.
The one and only.
Yeah. Not just a tree, the tree.
Right. Article noun.
Really, the heel cap on this one, or the heel is just really cool. Look at this.
Yeah, geometric.
Yeah, so you go from like round curves to squared off look, and it's just nice. So I know nothing about this brand. Can you tell me?
Circle Strings is out of Vermont, and very, very small builder. Adam Buckwall has a treasure trove, maybe one of the biggest treasure troves of really, really insanely exquisite tone woods, and this is a pretty good example of a little bit of his stash there. Very, very old German spruce, and like very, very old German spruce.
It feels like a flex, if I'm honest. Like as a luthier, I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, you didn't have to go that hard.
Yeah, and I haven't even strummed it yet, and it's... You can tell that it's going to be... I don't want to talk over him playing, but...
No, you're fine.
The thing about a guitar like this is that it's relying on less is more, and when you do less is more, you better get it right. You know what I mean? Like, and this guitar is checking all the boxes for like everything's super clean. Headstock reminds me of my older style headstock, super squared off, so your miter's got to be absolutely perfect.
Yeah, it's great. This has a very balanced tone, at least from what I'm hearing on this side of the soundboard. Yeah.
See, from like my distance back here, it's a beautiful looking guitar, but as you get closer to it and zoom in more, that green purfling starts to poke out.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. It's an ode to subtlety, I think. Yeah, and I love that. Also, this is a small aside. This is just mostly a joke between me and Chris, but tortoiseshell on the pick guard, he doesn't normally do pick guards. And I've not always been a tortoiseshell fan, but something's happening to me. I think I'm an adult. I pay taxes now. I'm shopping for lawnmowers, and I'm like, yeah, like that's a really good looking lawnmower. And I'm learning to really like tortoiseshell accents on guitars.
Tortoiseshell on a dreadnought, and this is one of those the hand poured pick guards. So it's really unique. You can tell it's not like a screen print, and it's kind of rounded and beveled on the end, so it's thick, but it's easy to play. It's super awesome. Yeah, this guitar is it really is special in its elegance and simplicity. It's just really, really nice. And see, I wish I knew how to play some bluegrass.
Hang on.
It's got a lot more bottom end than you would expect to me at least, I think, out of a mahogany guitar. And this is not just the first time I've played one of the circle strings, but I've never played the tree. And I'm currently building a guitar out of the tree, so it's really cool to be able to hear what it's going to sound like.
Awesome.
Because as a builder, just before Matt plays anything, as a builder, you get to work with the same species all the time. You get to, I've worked with mahogany and Brazilian and all the things, but to know that piece of wood is from the exact same tree as the guitar that I'm building, and that so many other great builders have worked with, and it's a really cool thing to be able to get an opportunity to hear the same exact tree.
Yeah, I love the makers the headstock. That's a really cool inlay. Let's hear it.
Nailed it.
Amateur luthier destroys amateur.
For those of you who don't know who Matt is, but Matt's a fiddle player, so the guitar is not his native instrument.
Yeah. Still, really, really subtle and beautifully made guitar. So circle strings. I don't know you, but hats off.
Yeah, seriously, yeah.
Cool side note.
Look us up if you're ever in Freeport, by the way. Circle strings. Yeah, come see us.
Trey Anastasio plays a couple of the circle strings dreads all the time.
Wow.
Stage, studio, all the time.
Yeah. Great feeling neck on it too.
Yeah. If seriously, sales pitch, if you're in the market for a guitar that's just elegant and the guitar does all the talking, this is an amazing one.
Yeah. Tell you what, let's stay in the same neighborhood over there. Go all the way to your right to that Santa Cruz. We're gonna switch it up big time on you here. This is a pretty unique build that I had the pleasure of working with them pretty closely on, just picking out the woods and getting the aesthetics kind of right to where they're at.
Back.
So we've got,
look at that.
So we've got flame maple back and sides with this Western red cedar top, or is this redwood? This is Western
that
red
one
cedar.
is actually that's the Fort Ross Chapel redwood. So
okay, so it's a story behind
redwood
this.
with a story.
Redwood with a story.
Yeah,
the best kind of redwood.
Indeed. Well, and out there on the West Coast, it's like Richard Hoover seems to have a spidey sense. If there's some old ancient wood or beams or logs or something that somebody has breathed on, somehow his spidey sense goes off, and that wood somehow finds him, it seems like.
That's a very good talent to have as a luthier.
Yeah. It's got the small teardrop style pick guard. We've got a 13 fret neck.
That's their H13, so it's kind of a deep body. Think like Nick Lucas, kind of L00 deep body, 13 fret kind of vibe. Slot head.
Yeah, that's, I guess it's I'm sitting here looking at this, something's different about this. It's a small guitar, but with a dreadnought sized body.
Yeah.
Depth.
Yeah.
You guys see this
big
on
dog.
camera. She's a big 5-inch deep body.
Close to it,
Thick with 3 C's.
Thick with 3 C's. She's got a dump truck.
Yeah.
the kind of guitar where you'd like the songwriter style guitar, you know? Where
Yeah. That's a very it's a very sparkly guitar.
Yeah.
Sitting out here in front of it.
But you got the cedar and the maple.
Yeah.
That are giving it all that. It's just a beautiful instrument. It really is.
Yeah, the depth they got out of that finish on the maple is something.
It is.
Mm-hmm. Chatoyance. That's my word of the day. Yeah. Yeah. I just know because it's my new word I've been using it. Yeah. Wow. Look at the chatoyance.
Chatoyance on that finish.
Boy, golly, that's some chatoyance right there.
Yeah, and the Art Deco. You've mentioned that, but it's different when you're not holding it. It's really beautiful.
Yeah. Look how tight the grain is on that wood too. That's.
Do you know any of the story behind the top wood?
So the Fort Ross Chapel was built in 1806, and I don't remember how many years ago it was, but there was if I understand correctly, a fire there, and some of it had to be taken down, and it was being held up with redwood beams, and so again, somehow this wood just finds Richard, you know?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's some pretty special stuff. We've had a number of guitars with those tops from him, and they're...
See, that's where that guitar shines right there.
Yeah.
That's the sweet tone. It's different than the other two that we've had so far, which have more of that. Especially the first one that had all that knock your feelings out bass.
Sure.
This one doesn't have all that really tight, that big bottom end, but it's got a sparkle, like you said, like a shimmer. And a lot of overtones in the top, and this is great for like fingerstyle stuff and really delicate players.
Yeah,
which is what redwood or cedar. It's a cedar.
Redwood.
It's redwood. I'm sorry. Yes, that's what redwood is like.
Yeah, I like Santa Cruz a lot. Whenever I'm just trolling around on the internet looking at pictures of guitars, Santa Cruz always makes me pause and always makes me go, like, if I'm scrolling through an Instagram feed or whatever, if I see a Santa Cruz, I always have to go back and look, and for good reason. They make a really, really beautiful guitar. So, yeah,
nice.
I love it. Where to next on our guided journey?
I'm gonna try to keep this going from like end to end here. Get some really different things between each guitar. If you go to the opposite side of the wall there, you'll see a rather modern McPherson.
Yeah, and I love McPherson's. I've only played... this is one that I have played, as far as... Not this guitar, but I have played McPherson's. I've played like 3 or 4. And I remember, before I even strum on this, that it was the first guitar that I strummed and was like, oh, that's what a guitar can sound like. And I didn't expect it because I talked to somebody here at the store. Feel how heavy this is.
Yeah, Griffin. We were talking with Griffin earlier.
Griffin. McPherson's a lot of times are very heavy guitars, and there's this, I believe, a misconception amongst people that it has to be lightweight to be great sounding.
Sure.
And I think McPherson's are the almost always you get surprised by like how much you get out of the guitar. And
okay, forgive me. First of all, is that cast iron that's for the bolt-on for the?
I haven't looked.
Yeah, it's a big old. This is impressive. I think it's some kind of metal. Yeah.
Look at laminated braces.
I get the sense where the weight Wisconsin, you said. I can sense where the weight is coming from because everything feels I keep wanting to say over-engineered, and that's not fair because that has a negative connotation. But in the same way, like old furniture is built like if you used to be, you don't get, now you get furniture at IKEA.
Yeah,
it's light and it's all these things, but old
handmade
post bed set. Yeah, it's got that feel to it, which I love. Ooh.
And what is back inside? Is this
Macassar ebony with Engelmann spruce.
Yeah.
So I built a guitar that is I call it my Da Vinci model, and it has a sound hole that main sound hole is here, and you have a tiny smaller sound hole here. It was very similar in concept, and I drew much inspiration from the McPherson's, especially with the cantilevered fingerboard, which is just really cool. I love
this is an architecturally interesting guitar, I think. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to bogart it. Yeah,
it's great, and I love the backstrap on the headstock. Yeah,
the weight of it, I've always felt like it feels centered in the guitar, though. You know what I mean? It's
I just really like the scooped sound. I guess that's the way that I would describe it.
Kind of dramatic, yeah.
And this is one of these guitars that I think has a different sound from the playing position than it does from the listening position.
Absolutely.
McPherson's have like a hollow sound in a really good way. Like I feel like you can hear the chamber inside of it.
Yeah. I'm gonna say this comfortably because I just talked about how much I love Santa Cruz guitars. So this is not a dig against them. It's just my personal preference. This is one of the better sounding guitars that we've heard, at least for me, sitting right here.
It's just there, and they have a great neck on it, and it's a fast neck.
Yeah.
Really.
For all the jangliness that Santa Cruz had, this one has. It's a lot more balanced, I think.
Yeah. Laminated braces with weight reduction holes in them. For all the
Yeah.
Remember my video?
That'll really help the 0 to 60 time.
Yeah. Well, I did a video a while ago about Martin's new weight reduction they put on there. I was like, no, people have done that before.
Yeah.
No, I see what you mean with the neck joint. That's really, really cool. It's like a giant washer made out of like one piece of steel with their logo on it, which is just killer. Yeah, this is great. And then the bracing on the back, and I assume on the top too, is like non-symmetrical. It's not like in a perfectly geometric like way. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and the top is laminated bracing too, so that the braces are literally made out of spruce with, it looks like walnut laminated in between them.
What do you think of the bridge design?
I think the bridge design is not offensive.
Okay.
I have a whole thing that I get onto. I feel weird here because we're like in front of an audience. It's like not our normal Driftwood audience, so we have to give it a little background story.
Yeah.
But like bridges, I will say a thing about bridges that people don't think about. A bridge is a brace on the guitar. It's a brace that's just glued to this side of the soundboard. So people don't think of it that way. And a lot of times people think that like you can make a bridge in just really beautiful ways, but no, a bridge it matters how it's shaped, and it matters how thick it is and how heavy it is. It matters how heavy it is more than anything. But this bridge is it's interesting because at least to my eye it seems like there's more of it on this side than there is this side. But it's not in such a big way that they're doing it just for looks. You know what I mean? And you've got really good perfect break angle, and the distance between here is equidistant, which is great. But what's most fascinating to me on this guitar is the bracing, because it's just it's not even that it's untraditional in its layout, but it's untraditional in its materials. And it sounds amazing.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like, oh, I've never heard a guitar sound like that before either. And it just, to me, further pointing to the fact that, like, if you as a builder, whether you're a company like McPherson or you're a guy like me who builds 15 guitars a year, like, you just have to learn how to work with the bracing pattern that you work with. And you learn how to master that bracing pattern to make the sound that you're going after. You know, people have this idea that like, oh, it's X bracing or it's nothing, or it's I only like forward shifted X bracing. But no, like that was that one guitar that you played that you liked. You know, yeah, this is a good one.
It's a really good guitar.
Somebody buy this one.
Yeah.
Great guitar, really, really great.
Yeah. I think I'm curious. Obviously, this is kind of a standout for a lot of reasons.
Let's see this. So Fairbanks guitars, I've seen a lot of their work on like Instagram and things like that, obviously. And Matt was telling me that it's more of a Gibson sort of leaning kind of. I mean, is it okay to even say that?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because we all know that some of us lean more towards Martins or Gibsons or whatever, you know. And it just, to me, kind of screams of that aesthetic and that look. And so if you love that look, then you'd love this. And this is just really, really cool.
It's definitely unique. Obviously, the fretboard is incredibly unique. The banjo tuners that are on it, like it's. I was talking upstairs with one of the salespeople here, Griffin, and the fact that there are guitars that are made for a lot of people, and there are guitars that are made specifically for one person, and in sales that's not always a bad thing, because as long as you can get to that one person. And this clearly it's that I'm not that person. I don't think that I would have this guitar, but I do still I respect what it is.
Yeah, and I think it's so well executed. Like this guitar feels like it's 75 years old.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's 75 years old, but well cared for 75 years old. It's got just a little bit of crazing in the finish. I don't know if that picks up on camera.
This is, what's that company that you were telling me about that does Porsches, where you can get...
Singer?
Yeah, Singer.
Singer Porsche, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
And it's basically a reimagined 911. And this guitar, this is like a slope shoulder, basically, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Big, deep body. Yeah, and it's just
The thing I love about the sound of this guitar is that the low E string, it feels like it's getting fired out of a gun.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, the low E, especially on like the open E major chords, is like poof. It's almost like I always picture guitars almost like you hit it and smoke rings were to come out of it.
Yeah.
It kind of feels that way. And the pickguard is a big pickguard and it's elevated. I don't know if that picks up on camera. It's elevated, and when I first saw it on the wall, I was like, oh, that's gonna get in the way. Not even a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's really nice. This is a cool guitar. Like Matt said, it's got an aesthetic that you have to be like for you, and it's not for me in that way, but it's really cool. These banjo tuners, I've always wanted an excuse to use them. They're just the coolest. Absolutely. And you said these guys are out of Vermont, huh?
They are, and this actual guitar is based on a guitar that actually exists, hopefully still to this day. It was made by Gibson in the 1930s, and the headstock said Martelle Deluxe on it, and was made for the Martelle retail store back in the 30s. And so Dale kind of came up with his own homage to that guitar.
That's even cooler.
now that I know that, okay, I'm sold.
This
All right,
guitar is
now I
even
want
cooler.
one.
Yeah, it's just cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
It's got like an L5 floating pick guard on it. Yeah, it's just.
It's got a Brazilian bridge, it looks like.
Yep.
Bone pins.
Yep.
This is a cool guitar.
I love the binding, kind of the alternating binding on the fingerboard versus the Ivoroid on the body.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. And I say this in the most way. All luthiers use the term. A lot of us call this the mother of toilet seat. Like, and it's just not. They're not saying it in a bad way. It's just a fun thing we all call it mother of toilet seat, and it looks so cool on here.
Yeah.
I've wanted to do a fingerboard years ago. People were doing like out of reconstituted ivory. Like you could make them like there's some early Martins like 1800s that have ivory fingerboards.
Sure.
And you can do them with like cattle bone, and it's the same sort of look as this, and it just looks really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is neat. This is, and it's. Hey, correct me if I'm wrong. A lot of the Fairbanks guitars are like this, right? They kind of lean heavy into that.
Very late 30s, early 40s banner era inspired
cool.
kind of stuff. Yeah, exactly.
super killer.
Exactly. Lightweight builds, old woods. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, right in the middle of you two guys, the McNally there is a pretty special guitar.
I've been waiting for this one.
Yeah, that's a fun one. Kieran is a good friend and a great builder. Just heck of a nice guy.
I love this. Is I asked you before we hit camera. This is the blue float log, right?
It is
From Alaska Specialty Woods.
Blue Sitka.
Yeah. So at least I have some of this blue Sitka that I'm building a guitar for right now. And the story that I was told is that it's a bridge that went over a river in Alaska, and it was made out of big beams of spruce, and it was held together with, obviously iron spikes and hardware and stuff. And a lot of the wood, when they disassembled this bridge, the iron had leached from the stakes into the wood, and the pieces of wood that were closest to the hardware leached color into it, and that's where this color comes from. Is that under the impression of what we've got with you guys too?
I honestly haven't heard that version of the story, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and so because Alaska Specialty Woods is where a lot of this really amazing woods, like the ancient Sitkas and stuff you've seen over the years, it's all from the same people. And it's wood. It's got this really cool story. And the other side, and this is part of that, like the guitar world, like where you get into the lore, is that, well, think about it, because it was on a bridge, and so it moved and shaked and vibrated all the time. And in the summertime, it would expand, and in the wintertime, it would shrink, and they would get ice in it. And like, so the wood's gonna have a lot more life to it than a tree that was just felled and then turned into guitar wood. So, kind of off the bat for me, I just love this piece of wood. I love the simplicity of the bridge. I love that there's no fret markers on the top of the fingerboard, but it's also got that white purfling. And then it's got like this feel how it's reinforced, the sound hole, so it's thick.
Oh, wow.
And so you got this really thick, very, very strong area here, but it's little things like that that are really, really cool to me.
That's a nice touch.
Yeah, is this Brazilian? No, this is African Blackwood.
You got it.
Yeah. Which is not heavy. And normally African Blackwood guitars are really heavy.
I know.
Hey,
So you're telling me this guitar is witchcraft? it's blue for no reason.
It's got the African Blackwood sparkle.
Reverb, yeah. The voice of his stuff is such a beautiful sort of marriage of like
Yeah.
You're sort of, kind of traditional North American tone, but then that European influence big time.
And I don't know anything about McNally. They're where?
So Kieran is an Irish guy, but he's building in the United Kingdom.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a great guitar, and this is like a OM style, right?
That's his S body, so kind of a concert size, just slightly smaller than an OM.
A really, really sweet guitar. What was the one that we played earlier that was very similar in its like design, simplicity, and aesthetic? Yeah.
Jewitt, maybe.
Yeah, it was the first one. Yeah, it was just like just clean, pure, and just very pure guitar.
What can you tell me, being the master luthier? I'm looking at that neck joint. What,
I haven't looked.
Yeah, that's because I can't tell. Are those wood plugs that are inside it? We're gonna go on a sleuthing adventure for a second. Hang on.
They are.
Yeah,
I bet you.
So is it a bolt-on neck or is it a glue-on neck?
It's probably a bolt-on.
Okay.
I don't know.
If you ever want to go, I'm curious, if you ever want to go service it, do you pop those?
You call McNally Guitars.
No, you call, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely a bolt. It's so cleanly done. It's got these. You can't see it on camera, obviously, but there's like these plugs where the bolts went. Man, the finish work in here is so nice. So clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Architecturally, look how tall that saddle is.
I know.
That's great.
This is great. Yeah, I love it. And he's got the brushed satin finish on the back of the headstock, which is something you don't see a lot of people do. See how it's like perfectly uniform. It's like the steel.
Wow.
You do like steel wool, and then you just get it all in one uniform direction to get those. That really, it almost has like a steel look to it when you do that.
Yeah,
right?
it's metallic. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's so cool. That's awesome.
That is.
Do you guys do a lot of these McNally guitars?
We do. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. As many as we can get.
I like the.
Yep.
That's a really good sounding guitar too. Yeah.
Yeah, what I love is, and I've seen a couple of them now, is wood with a story. That's always my thing. Wood with a story.
Well,
you know,
I shouldn't say this, being that, you know, I work at a guitar store, but it started with guitars and became a guitar freak, and now I think I'm becoming a wood freak, honestly.
It happens. Don't start buying wood. If you start buying lumber, I know people who buy lumber who don't even woodwork, and and it starts with they put an order for a guitar from us, and then they wait a few years, and we start building it. And by then they're like, oh yeah, I bought a whole bunch of wood. I'm like, but for what? They're like, I just fell in love with it, so I bought it. And next thing you know, they have a whole shop full of wood.
I can see how that would happen.
Yeah,
that's killer. I love it.
It's really, really nice. Bravo, McNally.
What do you think? Maybe we do one more.
I'll tell you, if that Ryan's a pretty fun guitar behind you there with the dragonflies on it.
Now is this? I don't know. It's a little backstory on me and Ryan. I've played one at NAMM this past year, 2024 NAMM. It's a floor NAMM. You can't hear anything.
Right.
Is this the Nightingale or no?
That's a Paradiso.
Okay, which is smaller.
So it's a little bit smaller. You got it.
And the cool thing about Ryan Guitars is that not only do they build incredible guitars, they Advanced Shell Technology is an offshoot of them, and they sell Luthier supplies. So actually, I get all of my pearl. Taylor gets all of their pearl from them. A lot of big builders use all their pearl. So they're great folks from the builder side too. And if you don't know anything about Ryan, the thing about Ryan is that they marry technology and innovative building techniques. In fact, I'm going to put a mirror in here because I've not seen one in person.
Yeah, do it.
So they've got this bridge plate that is just, it's like honeycomb, and it's just killer. You should put some B-roll of the honeycomb on there.
Sorry in advance, we have to try to chase all this down.
No, and also, when I've referenced in the past, the lightweighted, putting weight reduction holes inside your braces, this is like the OG version of that. One of the OG versions. It
truly is.
Just so cool. It looks like you're looking at a bridge, with all the weight reductions and stuff inside of it, which is really killer. So what about this one? This is
I was gonna say, what's the back and side wood?
That is Honduran rosewood.
Oh, interesting.
I don't think I've ever played Honduran rosewood guitar. And it's got the holes in the arm bevel, which
acoustic
is so
flutes.
cool.
Yeah. That's a really warm sounding guitar.
You really can hear those quite a bit. Quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, if I put my arm here, the difference is substantial.
And I'll be perfectly candid. I was not expecting those to really do a whole lot. I've seen sound holes show up in some weird places on some guitars, and I would not expect a lot to be coming out of there. But I guess it makes the back of your guitar is working like a bellows, so
these work better than a lot of the times I've seen one right here.
Agreed.
By quite a big, especially in my right ear. I'm really getting. And I like how they scallop the end of the fingerboard here, which is so nice.
Yeah,
this is killer. Really cool bridge design. There's so much about these guitars that are just really, really cool.
There's a lot of gracefulness in the design of it too. Like this is there's not a lot of hard like there's this kind of hard angle here, but everything else like these the carving there and the carving there, it's very
they even
soft
soften the edges of the sound hole and everything.
Yeah.
The bridge pins they use are like their own
this is the
proprietary
titanium ones.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, and because you can buy them. I've never actually bought a set of them before, but that's a cool guitar. Yeah, Ryan guitars are some of the cooler ones out there, in my opinion. I just think they're
love them.
I like a modern style guitar. So if you're of the modern style aesthetic, then Ryan's always got to be up there.
I honestly grew up on the traditional stuff, the Martin-esque and Gibson-esque stuff, and that's just what kind of my ear was always drawn to for a long time. But McPherson honestly was probably one of the earliest ones where it was such a radically different sound, like you said, kind of a scooped sound, and Ryan's are.
Yeah.
And the burst on the neck. Notice the burst.
Oh man, that catches the light so well.
Which it's funny because the guitar doesn't have any black on it other than the binding, but they've gone heavy in the black on the neck, and it just ties it all together really, really nice. This is cool. And Ryan Guitars is out of California.
You got
correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah.
It's got a heavy neck to it, which I don't hate. It's just this is warm.
Yep. Yeah, here. I'll do it. You play. That's what I'm saying. It's quite a big difference. It's quite a big difference. I don't think there's been a luthier in the world who's built a guitar with an arm bevel, like I do arm bevels all the time, who hasn't gone, I wonder if I could put holes in like a Ryan guitar. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's a great guitar.
Very cool.
Yeah, so much of the stuff here is like, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna take some of that. I'm gonna take some of that. I'm gonna do a little bit of that. I'm gonna do a little bit of that.
Well, that's what's cool about the luthier community too, is it seems generally pretty open, pretty.
Some companies can get a little litigious,
well,
but
I find that it's funny. The larger companies, obviously, a lot of times have got their cards close to their vest. But every builder I've met, like, no, let me show you how to do this. Let me show you this. Let me show you that.
Right.
As gatekeepers, sometimes it can seem from the outside looking in, it's not really at all. It's been really, really good. Because the reality of it is, I can show you everything about how to build a guitar, but to build a guitar, like you just have to go out there and build and build.
And,
and build
if you can take something that we've developed and do it better than us, then that's on us. We need to be doing it better too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And the cool thing is that there's just so much different ways that you can make a guitar sound, and like everything you've shown me here, everything's just different. Everything kind of fits a different thing. So as a buyer, what are you looking for? You know what I mean? Which I know it seems shticky and sales pitchy here, but that's really where you guys, I think Eddie's is so powerful, like that I can call you up and say, this is what I'm looking for. And you can kind of, to the sommelier reference, you can kind of go, okay, I think I've got 5 or 6 guitars that might match that.
Sure.
Versus you're just relying on what the dealer sent you, and you've only got 3 or 4 guitars in stock, and you're like trying to fit somebody and shoehorn them into a guitar. You're like, I've got such a broad, palette of instruments.
Not to be whatever about it, but it's like we don't really need to try to push anything.
Exactly.
It's like I am just as happy to sell you that Collings over there as I am the Ryan, because I know that the quality is there. We can stand behind it. They stand behind it.
It's a amazing thing to see that you guys are doing this, because it's, as a builder, it's amazing to know that like there's people out there who can like take that last part of it once the guitar's delivered, and you guys are going to do the right thing. Because that's the thing, as a builder, I get to deal directly with my clients, and I don't have an opportunity. I get to get that narrative there. But if it's going to go to any dealer, that they're just trying to make a sale. But everything here is screaming that it's not just about making a sale. It's about pairing somebody with the right guitar.
We've really curated what we do here in a tight, specific way, and That's
It's
why.
incredible.
That's why you're here.
It's
Yeah.
incredible. It's incredible.
So can I take one of these home, or?
Yeah. I mean, we didn't even mention at the beginning of the video. If you're watching this far along, like, we appreciate you. We drove up here to deliver a guitar, so this has been our first experience here too. I mean, this is all our reaction to all this has just been just as you see it. So
Yeah.
that was super cool. Yeah. What was that?
We got one more.
Oh, I love it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Do I turn it on or do I let them figure it out? Turn it on. All right.
Do I turn it on? That's how you know it's gonna be something.
Yeah. This is.
What I'm doing.
Is it like MIDI? That is MIDI. Shut up.
I have.
Last but not least.
Last but not least, what in the world is this? Oh my god! Okay, and then. It's like, and it's got different sounds, I assume, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, headstock buttons.
That's amazing. You try. I see. Oh, okay. That was a classical. Listen to the sustain, guys.
Yeah. The acoustic properties on this 3-inch speaker are quite incredible.
What is this? Is this a guitar you
This
guys
is
found
an
up?
Aeroband guitar with silicone strings so your fingers won't get hurt. You can palm mute on it. You cannot do pull-offs on it.
You this is what you cannot do on it. I'm sorry, are the lights and the frets light up when you press them? Look at that.
Yeah.
It's a curiosity that's awesome.
Sorry, I'm making my own. Yeah,
well, that's probably the best one we've seen all day.
Yeah. Stop drilling, you've hit oil, fellas.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah, the palm muting.
Pretty charming.
Sorry, I love, what's that line from Jurassic Park? They were too busy wondering if they could, no one ever thought they should. But I respect that.
Yeah.
I respect this for what it is.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
I think that wraps it up for us.
I think we ended on a high note.
Yeah.
So thank you to
Thanks,
Matt
Eddie.
and Eddie's Guitars for having us.
Yeah, man.
And if you are a fan of the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you guys feel interested, go look us up. We are Driftwood Guitars.
Yeah.
You can find us on YouTube as well. We like to make videos where we make guitars and
We'll
sometimes
be
we destroy
selling
guitars.
Yeah, and we'll be selling guitars here at Eddie's hopefully, and check out the one that we just brought up, and hopefully by the time you see this, it'll be gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, this has been amazing. We appreciate you guys having us. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
See you guys in the
Amazing.
next one.
Take care.
Why is there a button on the back too?
It comes off.
It comes off.
The
Okay.
neck does.
off. Yeah.